Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. And jumping straight into the rumours today, the big rumour going around is linking the Bosnian international who plays for Juventus, Miralem Pjanic, with Arsenal. The Sun are reporting today that Arsene Wenger personally called him up and asked him if he'd be interested in a move to Arsenal. According to the Sun, Pjanic has said, yes, I'd love to come to Arsenal. So Arsenal are now thinking about pursuing this deal, which would be worth about £28 million from Juventus. Now, this has come right out of the blue. Pjanic, of course, is a top player. He's previously at Roma. Juventus bought him. He's a playmaker. He can play in that deep line role where Santi Cazorla plays right now. What the sort of player that we have been missing since Cazorla's been out, because he's a real playmaker. He's one of those players who make things happen. But I just see this as such an unlikely deal. I mean, why would Juventus sell one of their best players right now? I mean, you know, they're in a strong position in their league. They're in the Champions League. He'd be cup-tied in the Champions League. That's another thing. And for me personally, again, I just can't see this one as one that could happen. Also, I have been interested in this guy for quite a while. He's known around Europe as a top player, but I just can't see this as a deal that's going to happen. But it seems to be all over the place today. Pjanic linked with a move to Arsenal. Another person getting linked a lot today, we spoke about him yesterday, is Dimitri Payet. Now, I don't know if it's because in yesterday's game when West Ham played Manchester United, which, by the way, Mike Dean, what a terrible referee he is. I mean, the refereeing decisions in that game were awful, but that's another matter. But Dimitri Payet, to my surprise, watching the game, got substituted. You think to yourself, you know, the guy's the best set piece person in the Premier League. You bought on Andy Carroll, you'd have thought they would have kept him on, but something's not quite right there at West Ham. Now, we know he's been linked heavily with a move back to Marseille. He's been linked again today with a move to Arsenal. As I said yesterday, I wouldn't mind it at all. He's a quality player. You add quality to Arsenal's team. His free kicks alone, and we all saw what he did in the Euros, but there's something definitely not right with him at the moment, and the links are going to continue, I think, throughout this month of January. But Payet linked with Arsenal again. This next one's very interesting. Ricardo Rodriguez. Now, we spoke about this guy a lot during the summer. He plays for Wolfsburg, Swiss international, very, very good friends of Granit Xhaka. And throughout the summer, he was getting linked heavily with a move to Arsenal. He's a left back, very talented, one of those players who gets up and down the wing. Now, the rumours today are that Chelsea are trying to get in there and buy Rodriguez, and a lot of the papers reporting that basically Chelsea are going to move in and move away Arsenal's target. Are Arsenal still looking at Rodriguez? I mean, heavily linked in the summer. It was looking like a deal that could get done, particularly the fact that we'd signed Granit Xhaka and they're like best of friends. But I've also sort of moved away from that now. They've got Monreal, they've got Gibbs, both of them very accomplished left backs. Monreal hasn't been having the greatest of seasons. He's had a few torrid games. Hasn't been as consistent as he was last season. Also getting a bit older as well, but still a quality player. Has recently broken into the Spanish national team. Gibbs has been playing really well. And then there's rumours even linking Gibbs with moves away as well. Crystal Palace apparently interested in signing Kieran Gibbs, although I just don't think Arsene Wenger will let any of those two go before the end of the season. So the Rodriguez one, if Chelsea are moving for him right now, I'd say they'd be favourites to get him. What do you guys think? Do you think that we should go out there and get Rodriguez? Because if we did, that would mean either Monreal or Gibbs having to leave the club. Now, do you think we should do that? I think I'm going to run a poll on that. Do you think get Rodriguez and replace one of the existing left backs? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to do a poll as well, and we'll see what you guys are thinking about that. But Ricardo Rodriguez being linked with Chelsea today and not Arsenal. Final one I wanted to talk about, and very relevant because we're playing Bournemouth today, is Jack Wilshere. Now, Jack Wilshere's only got 18 months left on his deal, and we've got to talk about players that their contracts are running down, and he's another one of his main ones. Now, at Bournemouth at the moment, playing really well, injury-free, which is something he never is at Arsenal. And, Arsene Wenger was saying that he gave him a call on Sunday. Now, everyone was saying, well, did you give him a call to talk about contracts? Wenger said, no, I only just gave him a call to wish him a happy birthday. Is there a problem here with this deal? Because to me, again, Jack Wilshere goes away. As we know, he's in Bournemouth, doing really well, has a great season. At the end of the season, he's only got 1 year left on his deal. Should we be leaving that till then? I mean, Arsenal, I think, in this January transfer window, this is another one, important one that they need to get sorted out. They really need to get a new deal signed with Jack Wilshere, because with 1 year left on his deal, I mean, everybody, if he continues to have a great season, everybody's going to be looking to sign him. And I think this is a dangerous situation here for Arsenal. So we really need to get Jack Wilshere tied down to a new deal, and I'm a little bit worried about this situation. The final one where I'm not worried about this one, and I really hope we get rid of this guy, is Mathieu Debuchy. Debuchy shooting off his mouth again. Apparently said that he only talks to Arsene Wenger to say hello and goodbye, and that's it. That's the only time they talk, he says. Listen, the guy's clearly unhappy at the club. He says that he was denied a move to Manchester United. He's surplus to requirements. He did get a game earlier on in the season. Wenger, to his credit, brought him back in. All right, we had an injury crisis, and Debuchy unluckily got injured again. But, I hate all this, how he's carrying on. Arsenal gave him a big chance, right? I mean, it's not working out for him. Just keep your head down and get your move. But all this trying to disrespect Wenger, for me, just makes him look worse and worse. Wenger's apparently angry, and they're looking to offload him, and I think it would be best for both parties to just get rid of Debuchy. Let's get into some of your comments from yesterday. I was asking you guys about what we need, what sort of players, etc. Marcus Dimitri says, I don't think there are any teams with a packed midfield other than Arsenal. I don't think we need another midfielder, he says. With the poor conversion rate Arsenal is having right now, we need a striker. Poor conversion rate. Need a striker. I think we're all right for strikers at the moment. We've got Alexis Sanchez, who's on 15 goals this season. Giroud's banging them in, as you can see the other day. He's scoring consistently. We're getting goals from the wings. Goals, I disagree with that. I mean, for me, yes, we've got a lot of players in midfield, but we could do with a creative midfielder. NW10 SW4E8 says we need a winger, a central defensive midfielder, and a versatile fullback, and maybe a striker. Where are you going to fit all these players? David Nietzsche says, surprised no one has mentioned Mahrez. Definitely an Arsenal player. Mahrez not having a great season though at the moment. This is why sometimes you have to move while the going's good. A bit like what Kante did, because I think Mahrez now, his price would have dropped a bit so far this year because he's not really having a good season at all at the moment. Plus he's going to be off to the African Cup of Nations. Brian Moser says, man, Isco's been unhappy pretty much since Madrid bought him, and they have a transfer ban soon, so he won't be leaving. Get Payet. I think he has 3 to 4 good years in him. I'll tell you, I would get Payet as well. I think Payet is a quality player. Whether West Ham would sell him to us, that is another matter. But for me, if he was available, he'd be an excellent signing. But then Iakele says, Real Madrid won't sell Isco. He's enjoying his football in Madrid and seems happy they're starting in front of James Rodriguez. Maybe last year it would have been slightly possible. Ferziel says, I would take Isco. He's younger and a long-term player. He'd take him over Payet. And Pranev says, Isco is going nowhere from Madrid. He's a true Madrista. So that's what a lot of you guys are saying. Keep those comments coming in. Keep subscribing here to ArsenalFanTV. And looking forward to the game today. Bournemouth, a must-win game for Arsenal. You know what? If we win this game, we're starting to get back in good shape. Liverpool dropped points yesterday. Really important tonight for Arsenal to go out there and get a victory against Bournemouth. Thanks for watching the show, and we will be back around about the same time tomorrow.